What's up? Let's Write tonight. Working on Deepriver in the Shadows of Lordaeron, but first, I wanted to watch this video with y'all. Hold on. Shush. So this guy's Carl Duncan. He does some really good videos about writing.
Charisma. If you don't have it, then your characters probably should. Today, we're talking about charisma, or Riz, as the Gen Xers call it when they're blasting their big band music and talking to each other on their Motorola Razors. This country is going to hell. Anyway, charisma is one of the most sought after attributes of a character. Many of the great characters in fiction, heroes and villains alike, are defined by the charisma they possess. Or possibly the charisma that they lack. That's also a possibility. What goes into crafting a charismatic character, though? That's what we're going to talk about today. I mean, if you guys want to, totally up to you. I'm open to anything. I'm just glad that there are people here with me and that you didn't just leave. For obvious reasons, I can't demonstrate it, so instead, let's start by defining charisma. I'm going to use a slightly different definition for charisma. People lump a bunch of concepts in with charisma, and it is sort of a bit of a nebulous concept, but you'll see why I'm using this definition later on. Anyway, for the purposes of this video, I'm defining charisma as the ability to generate positive responses to one's interactions with other people, the ability to articulate one's viewpoint in a broadly understandable way, and the ability to demonstrate a future-oriented mindset, which may include vision, goals, aspirations, etc., etc. Let's break each of these down a little bit more. Positive reactions means that people respond to the character.
So the reason I'm listening to this is because the main villain, Zeko, I haven't fleshed out his character yet, but I want him to have a unique level of charisma. And so I wanted to see what Carl had to say.
Charismatic person in a certain way. We are naturally drawn to people with charisma. We want to agree with what they say. We want to buy what they are selling. We want to spend more time with them. They are not repulsive or boring or unengaging. Charismatic people are fundamentally good at manipulation. Now, the word manipulation has a lot of negative connotations to it, and you can manipulate people in all sorts of negative ways, which is why charismatic villains are a thing. However, you can also manipulate someone in a positive way as well. When the head coach gives the sports ball team a heartwarming speech at the beginning of the fifth quarter when they're down by 11 baskets to 8 baskets, and
Hey,
he
thanks for the
makes
follow.
them change their mindset, then he's manipulated the team into
Thanks,
believing
Larder.
in themselves. When I ask you to subscribe to my channel, I'm manipulating you to... Who am I kidding? Nobody wants to watch more of this stuff. Charisma includes the ability to manipulate people, to bring them into your way of thinking, whether that's good or bad. Even someone recognizing you as charismatic involves you doing stuff that influences their thinking to make them think that you are charismatic. Even if they are 100% coming to that conclusion on their own, if they think that you are charismatic, it's because you've demonstrated things that make them think that you're charismatic, which, and it might be a bit of a philosophical debate, you could argue is some degree of manipulation. Charisma also involves clear communication. Charismatic individuals get their ideas across in a way that many people understand. We are drawn to them because we are drawn to their ability to communicate the ideas. They are a beacon of information in a sea of people who don't make any sense. The last part of charisma is the ability to articulate a vision, a plan. Charismatic people are usually leaders. Leaders rally people around some kind of goal. When the world is going to hell because of those Gen Xers who only want to fiddle with their hot rods outside the malt shop, being able to show a path out of this mess is a real sign of charisma. An important point to note here is that charismatic people both have this vision and also actively work to create it. That's what separates them from non-charismatic people. Either people who don't have a vision at all or don't act to make it a reality. If you aren't acting towards your vision, then you're probably not charismatic. Charisma is not the same thing as likability. Likability is a feature of charisma, generally, but I would argue you can have a likable character who is not charismatic. You can have a likable character who is not good at communicating, a likable character who is maybe socially awkward, a likable character who doesn't necessarily have any goals or any vision or who isn't taking action on making those things happen. Confidence is also not the same thing as charisma. Confidence is a lack of fear, a willingness to move forward into uncertainty, a willingness to deal with the consequences of your actions. That's an element of charisma, but charisma is more about the magnetism around your actions. Confidence is the willingness to take those actions. The most important thing about writing charismatic characters is that the reader needs to think of the character as charismatic. Now, that might seem really obvious, but there's a subtle nuance here, and that's that charisma exists in the thoughts of other people. You are charismatic because other people think you are charismatic. So if you want a character to come across as charismatic, you need to add those thoughts into the reader's mind. When you have a character who creates the reaction of charisma in the story around them, but the reader doesn't find that character charismatic, that's when you get into Mary Sue, Gary Stu territory. You have a fundamentally uncharismatic character who is affecting your story in a charismatic way. That's not good because it will draw the reader out of the story. It will seem like the other characters are reacting in an unrealistic way. It will make the character you're trying to make charismatic seem less likable, creates all kinds of problems. The reader has to resonate with the interactions that the charismatic character is making. If they feel like the other characters are reacting in a believable way, then you will have this resonance, and the reader will also think that the character is charismatic. The actions that the other characters are taking, the response that they're having to this character, will seem in line with the reader's expectations. The agency that a character has also goes a long way to making them appear more charismatic. Having a vision and working towards that vision in a brave way naturally makes someone seem more charismatic. You can do this by laying out the goals and the motivations of the character so that the reader realizes they have this vision in the first place and are working towards it. You can also show the character taking action without the reader necessarily knowing what they are working towards. That's another way you can approach it. This is common with villains who are charismatic. Usually their intentions are hidden in the shadows, but we can see signs that they are working up to something. We can see signs that they have some kind of goal, some kind of plan, even if we don't necessarily.
See, that's what's hard about my villain, Zeko. He isn't necessarily the villain until halfway through the story. He's actually one of the good guys. It's just over time, the principles and foundations that keep this group together fall apart. It's almost like the Watchmen, where you have members of the Watchmen turning bad because, like, who watches the Watchmen? So I really want his corruption to be this slow process that the audience almost doesn't notice.
Know what it is.
But
I mean, this guy has talked his way into 3 separate tours of this nuclear power plant over the last week. Something is up. And of course, the lazy-ass Gen X security guard is too busy playing with his PlayStation Portable and listening to the latest jazz records to notice that anything is up. Charismatic characters also absorb difficulty quite well. They are usually unflappable, responding fully to whatever situation arises, whether they need to navigate a cocktail party or lead the survivors of a plane crash to safety. Cool-headedness is another attribute of charisma that's related to vision, and having a character display this type of behavior is a good way to make them seem more charismatic. If you have a situation where a bunch of other characters start freaking out about something and one character doesn't freak out and kind of leads the situation to a resolution, then that will make them seem more charismatic. Here you're relying on some foiling behavior between all the non-charismatic characters who are freaking out about whatever is happening, and the charismatic character who actually has a plan, who actually has a way out of the situation. That's a good way to demonstrate, using just the reaction of other characters, that this character is charismatic. Remember ultimately that the impression of a character being charismatic is an impression that has to be formed in the reader's mind. Focus on giving them evidence of the character's charisma through all of the things that we talked about in this video, and they will more likely to be coming across as charismatic. Unlike me, do I have something charismatic to end this video with? Obviously not. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Obviously not. All right. I'm turning on some music. So I'm still actually working on this outline. I think outlines are boring, but at the same time, I actually kind of appreciate it because it's underlying just how much backstory for these characters I have not yet developed. All right. Now I need to think this through. Aralana is a Dark Ranger who we see in an earlier chapter, and she is captured while she is exploring her childhood home in Silvermoon. The question is, why was she at her childhood home? Well, she visited her childhood home because she missed her past life, but why was she in Silvermoon? And this should link us to... I think I need to do some lore research real quick. Interesting. Hmm. Okay. So, what is a good reason Arowana So the Shadows were working for Sylvanas. They can do multiple things at once. What was she doing in Silvermoon? It's probably just not going to work. Okay. I'm kind of stumped here. Why was Aerolana in Silvermoon? And it matters because Okay. Okay, so I kind of tapped into something new here where I've given the Forsaken a motivation to be untrustworthy, untrusting of other factions and other races. Because during the Mist of Pandaria campaign, Garrosh Hellscream was very like pro old school orc and Tauren, and he really thought very and Troll. He thought very little of the Forsaken. He didn't trust Sylvanas, and he saw her desire to survive as the same as the Lich King, to propagate the undead as the same as the Lich King. The best war chief, by the way. He did nothing wrong. Okay, so now I've got the where's my notes? Infinite Dragonflight, so that's new as of yesterday, so that's cool. What are they doing? What are the Infinite Dragonflight trying to do? So the infinite dragonflight are corrupted bronze dragons, and bronze dragons specialize in time travel. That's like their thing. The infinite dragonflight are corrupted by evil deities inside the WoW universe, and they use their time travel to try to alter the timeline. And so what is their interest in the shadows? Except to guide them for their own interests. Okay. See, there's so many subplots to this story. It's honestly, this, as I'm writing this story and I'm getting it put together, it's getting pretty damn complex. This is not just about a Tauren. There's a lot going on around him. Honestly, if I just told his story, it'd be easy, but it's establishing this living universe around what's happening, which helps everything else make sense. That's so difficult. Oh, cool. Wish that disc was a little higher. You know what I wish they added in this expansion with all the airships that they've got, these zeppelins? Rather than having these giant stupid dinosaurs that everyone has with a gift shop or whatever on it, players should get a zeppelin that you can walk around on, and it's like it's just a zeppelin. Like multiple people can be on it. It's got stores or something. Could have been cool. Instead, they gave us another brontosaurus. So now I'm looking at Act 3, the final act of Part 1, and this is when Sal'journ joins the Shadows of Lordaeron. And I want to introduce a few more characters here. Why is there a Worgen here? Why is the Horde like this? Alright, so the group in Act 3, they study a map together. They decide to take a ship so that they don't have to traverse the Ghostlands, which still have Scourge. They discover Sal is not of the Ebon Blade, which means... what does that mean to them? Well, what matters is Daya takes notice, as it will be revealed later that he, Sal'journ, is the one who killed her earlier and made her Scourge before she was saved. I think I've got the captain of the ship with her own character. Yep. sea captain. All right, Act 3 is all about the rescue and the return and the journey. I think I need to go to Silver Moon, do some recon. Real quick, I just need to see what's going on here. Need a point of reference. Empty city. It's very sad. This place used to be poppin'. Okay. So they're actually sailing from somewhere in here, because what they don't want to do is on foot go all the way through the Plague Lands, all the way through the Ghost Lands. Like, it's all just scourged through here, right? This one area here never got any love, did it? So they don't want to have to go through all of that just to get to Silver Moon. So instead, they're going to sail from here to here. The question is where? And this will be a good time for me to See, these are all the Scourge walking around. This would be a good time for me to dabble in just how subversive the shadows really are. I don't remember the ship being here. What was this sank for? This will be perfect. It would make sense the shadows can get in here because these knuckleheads are here. The wretched. And the Murlocs. Okay. He's undead too? Nope, humanoid. They're just gross. Okay. Sylvanas' childhood home is around here somewhere. Oh, no, she's in the Ghostlands, isn't she? Yeah, Windrunner Spire. Never mind. They should salute it on their way, actually. Where did they get the mana? All right, quick research. It just tells you that, oh, they're addicted and they suck, and they're basically just crackheads. And there's no real reason for them to be here. But what the Shadows did, and what I'm going to do in the story is, the Shadows basically instigated these guys to attack. By doing so, it diverts the Silvermoon guards away from Silvermoon to secure this area. And that's what gets them into Silvermoon to save Arolana. So what we're doing is... Alright, this song is just completely breaking my brain. Let's see. Okay. The question is, can I make this jump without dying? Yes. The next question is, where did they find the wretched? Wish I had more of a source for this. Super addicted. Magical addiction. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, the Blood Knight Order. This is who Arolana's sister belongs to. Okay, so... Got it, got it, got it. Sweet! I think we're good to go. Act 3 is looking pretty good. Alright. Well, I'm going to wrap it up for the night. I appreciate you joining me. I hope you're making good progress in your story. I do this Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. And my goal is to finish this story by the end of the summer and to eventually adapt it into a script and a screenplay. So I look forward to you joining me on that adventure. If you want to work on your story with me, by all means, let me know what you want to do in the chat. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.
It's a great day for buying. Come back soon.